Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. Scraps, we've all got them. They just pile up, little ones, big ones. We try and use our little ones, well I do. And my bigger ones, like these sorts of things, tend to just go back and go back. And I just don't go back to them. I put them in a folder that's marked backgrounds and they sit there. But then I'll get a new digital set and I'll go on to those. So you end up with a hodgepodge of, here we go. You end up with a hodgepodge of partly used digitals. Okay, now they could be scrapbook papers. They could be just normal A4 pretty papers that you've come across in the shops. They could be digitals. They could be anything else. But if you're like me, we end up with bits and bobs left of them that are not necessarily, like, that would go in my scrap bin. This is just where I've been working this week, and it's my table, and it needs a clean up, and yeah, so little ones will go in my little scrap bin. You've all seen my little cane basket scrap bin that I'll pull out little bits and pieces. This is from the journal collage the other day, from the Edith Holden page. I think this was from the one that we did last week, which was, and I can't remember what it was now. It was some foldy thing. It's always a foldy thing. But these have been where I've been tearing them off for different bits and pieces. And then they go in like that, and I tend to forget about them. So instead of packing them away, what I've started to do is do a tag. Not just any tag, though. Right. My other problem. I love books. I love books. We all love books. That's what we're doing in this industry. But I will come across old books or books with beautiful papers or whatever else, and I'll gut the books if they're a hardcover one and use them for my next journal. I will use book pages in my journals if I'm doing an altered book. Let's face it, most of the book pages are left in there, but you're still tearing a lot out. I've got a really big wooden box that I keep either gutted books. Oh, hang on. Now, gutted books like this. Now, this is a French to English dictionary from memory, which I use bits and pieces, and you can see I've pulled out bits. Or I will have loose papers where I've pulled them out of when I'm doing altered books, or they're just sitting around loose. So I've got quite a collection of, you know, either pre-gutted or loose papers. Every now and again, I like to get back onto those and start to try and clear. I can't throw them out. I just can't throw them out. So they stay there, and I use them every now and again. So here's a tag that I want to do that uses 6 book pages plus more. So at least 6. So it just looks like a tag. Now I've just popped a paper clip up here with my ribbon. It's not finished being decorated. We'll finish decorating it today. If you take off your paper clip, and it's a normal flick out book. So we flick, all right, we flick, and we flick. Now we've all done the concertina type ones. If we turn it over, we're all on here as well. But because I've used book pages, they're nice and thin. It all just goes back, I'll pop my paper clip on the top, and then in my journal, it looks like a normal tag. It's not until you undo your paper clip that you realise it's got all this secret pockets and journaling and all the rest. And you know me, love to find all my secret bits and bobs. So, nice and easy. I'll start you off on how we actually achieve this. So, I've grabbed some other book pages just from another book, and I've got 6. You could do it as many as you like. We're going to do 6. So 1, 2, I've got 2 there, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, what we want is, now this one is, when it's been printed, you'll see some of these are right over to the edge. Well, this edge has got slightly more. We want the edges with the slightly more straight edge. So that one's a definite goer. This one, technically, I haven't torn it that much there, so I could use that side. Yes, I can use this side. I can use this side. That's 4. That side, 5. That side, 6. I'm just going to pop these ones aside. So with a scoreboard, if you haven't got a scoreboard, doesn't matter. You can just use your ruler and a bone scorer. I've got my little envelopey one, but it's a great little size, and I tend to use that when I'm working on my desk. So we're just going to sit them down, and as you can see with this one, it's not quite wide enough for most book pages, so I tend to use this as my straight edge, and I'll just line it up there. And what I'm doing is lining this score line with where the words finish. So hang on, I'll grab my big ruler, and if I sit that on, lined up with my score, with my bottom line, if I sit that line, my ruler on that line, you can see I've got no more wording here. If I go that side, what I'm going to be is right up to where the words are. Right, so I'll straighten that up again, sit it on there. Now, most book page, especially older book page, can be fragile, so don't score too much, okay? So we've got our crease line, valleys become mountains, mountains become valleys, and I'm just going to work that down with my finger because I don't want to rip this page. This is a more of a fragile book. The book that I've used for this one, which is this, it's sturdier, but it's really, really thin, if that makes sense. It does make sense, believe me. And I tend to use him a lot. It was a very thick book, but small. So it's always given me lots and lots of book paper. All right. I'm just going to give that a nice straight edge. Okay. And for our first one, all we're going to do is adhere that on to another one up against that. Okay. Like so. So you'll see that it's in here. Which way did I want to go? I think I want to go that way. I can tear all this off. Yep, we'll go that way. That'll be my centre one. So, a little bit of glue down here on this one, because we will cut it to size. Oh, look, I've been working on this glue all morning. Why won't it work now? Bear with me. There we go. It does have glue there. Right. What I find that I will do is attach all my book paper together, and then I'll work out the size that I want. So there's that one. And I'm going to turn it over because I find it's easier to put my scored edge up against that edge. Like so. Give that a crease, and what you've got is your centre one. Okay? It's at this point, now that we've got our centre one, that you want to work out how wide you want your tag. So at the moment, this book paper, and you've got to remember it's smaller on the other side where we've folded it, I could go up to 4 inches. I like about 3.5. I usually like my tags somewhere between 2 and 3.5 inches. So I'm going to cut this off at 3.5 inches. So I'll just get my trimmer, set the whole thing in, going along to 3.5 inches. This is my folded side, which has just been joined together, and trim that down, and they will go on my scraps bin. Right. So this is now my centerpiece. This is the size of my tag. So what I want now is another one that's going to fold in there. So if I fold this bit, he will sit in here. Okay, so back to this one. Now I want that way, so it'll be scored that way. I'm going to turn it down right on the edge of my writing. Try and get it straight. And with this paper, I can really hear it tearing, so I need to be careful with this one. Use my finger just to work it over. Now you can use a bone scorer to fold it over. You can use, if you're using one of the old store cards for your glue, pushing your glue, that's what I use this one for, but it also works really well to press my papers. This one's going to go here. So, putting our glue on it. I tend to glue it and then cut it. Okay. Again, I'll go down, match up my score line to that as I go. I haven't actually checked to see if I'm in shot. Hang on a moment. Yep, I am. Look at that, right in the middle. Okay, so this now needs to be trimmed, same size as the other one. And all I'll do is sit that up, and I want it a little bit smaller than where that centre fold is, just so that there's not too much bulk right in the centre, because I want it to look like a tag. So we're going to go there. I'm going to trim this, sit you over there. And I'm going to find my knife, which I've had here all morning because I've been playing around all morning. Of course I did. I set those digitals back on it. All right. Back over here. We've got this one. We'll go this way again now. That one will go onto this. He'll be bent in. So it's sitting him on an even. Most books, especially when you get to old books, are not that straight anyway. So allow for that. Don't get too overworked if they're not quite perfectly straight. You'll do your head in with some of the older books. So just, yeah, allow for it in your mind and your plans that sometimes they're going to be a little bit wonky. Oh, sun's just gone out here. I hope the lighting's still fine. I haven't got the overhead light on because we had the sun shining through the windows. So I've just got my main desk lights on. All right, that one's going to go here. And then you'll keep working along to however many book pages you want to pop in this. If you've got thin book pages, you could, I don't know, sky's the limit really, isn't it, with how many you actually put in. So I'm turning that around so that I can go with my scored side, which has the glue. And then I can work it out from there. I'm just matching that side. Because I'm using the white glue and not double-sided tape, it will allow me to move it a little bit if I need to reshuffle. All right, so this one needs to be cut to size as well. So what I'm doing, I go like that. So you can see here, this is where my fold line is. So I want to come in just a little bit, and I will trim that to that line. Just going to sit it on my grid. You know I always use my grids. Yes, I could take it back over to my trimmer, but I'm a knife girl, and I need to come down anyway because my mat's a bit small. I need to go to this one. Right. So I'll trim that off. Back to there. Down. So now we've got our 4 pages done. In here and in here. And see how there's a little bit of a gap in there, which will allow them to fold nicely. So I want to put another one on this side. And I'm thinking that I'm going to score down there because this one doesn't have that graded. Look, it's probably not going to matter if you've got a little bit of wording on there. That's just me being me. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, look, it's not going to matter. Just do as you want to do with it. I'm just giving you the basics and you can go from there. Oh, I can hear this crackling as it goes. Work it over with my hands. Yeah, you can really feel this paper. I love this paper, but it might not have been the best thing. I have to be gentle. Sorry. Right. A little bit of glue on that one. And then we've got one more to do. But, you know, in its defence, this book paper is beautiful for tearing. Right, down onto this one. Down. Oh gosh, I hope you can't hear my stomach growling. That's not good. Right, that one will be cut as well. And I just want to go in a little bit to that one. Goes over so that I can get to it. Right, kind of straight, fairly straight. Down there, one more to go. At this stage, I have no idea what to call this, but when it gets loaded later on, I'll obviously have come up with a name. So you're in there, you're in there. You can feel if you've cut off enough. If you haven't cut off enough, it's going to start to bulk and bend out of shape a little bit. This one's going to go onto this one. So this will be our last fold. And then in essence, our tag, booklet, flip, folder, folio, you know, whatever it's ended up being. Sit that down there and get that out of the way, is then done. And it's a matter of decorating. And that's all there is to it. And we've used all this book paper. We're going to use some more as pockets. All right, put some glue, find some glue. I've got so many glues in front of me for whatever application I'm doing that, yeah, sometimes it's like, you know, where's the seed and the walnut? I'm moving them all around and can't quite find the right glue. All right, so I'm just going to turn this around again because it makes it easier for me because I'm a righty. Hold that one down. Right, so it's at this stage. That's not very straight, is it? I want to cut that one about there. It's at this stage you will now work out your tag shape. Now you might want a normal tag shape. You might want it as an oval. It's up to you. I find the easiest is, of course, just a general tag shape. All right, so here we've got folded, folded, and folded. Now, if you're an inker, I would start inking. I'm an inker, but I'm not going to make you go through all that. Right, oh, lost it. Here's one I just prepared. Magic of TV. Right, so this is done out of that really soft one again. Exactly the same, just different pages, different books. So you can see it's the same thing. Now I've inked around each and every one of those, which is why I'm not doing it on camera, because it takes a long time and my fingers are stained. So sorry about that. But yes, it's here now that you want to work out your tag shape. Now, if you've got these sorts of things, you can use those. You can use your grid if you haven't made yourself one of these, and I highly recommend you make yourself one of these. These are just so easy to make tag shapes. So easy. But if, let's say you don't have one. So set it on your grid. Find your halfway point. So what did we say this one was? 3 1/4. Oh, no, the other one was, I don't know, what did we do the other one at? 3 1/2. This one's 3 1/4. They were smaller book pages. So 3 1/4, so 1 1/2 and a little bit. Or it's round about 8 centimetres or 4 centimetres. So about here is my halfway point. Okay, so I'm going to move that over onto my grid at my halfway point, just so that I can see where I'm going. I want to go in with this. These are in centimetres, this mat. So that's a centimetre, that's a centimetre. 2 squares are a centimetre, or 2 squares make a centimetre. So 1, 2, if I'm going in inches, it's about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and I'll go in 2 here, and I like longer ones, so I'm actually going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is about 3 centimetres. And then I can go down the same way over here onto the same line, and I will just use, you can use your scissors, you can use your knife, and I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, so I've got my markings on there, so I can turn it around. You can set this in your trimmer if you want on an angle, or you can use your knife or your scissors. So here's my shape. What I will need to do is rub off my pencil marks, especially on this book paper, because it is a light, fine book paper. And then what I would do would be just to go back through and do all these. We can do all these later, but just so that you get your cut edges off. Right, so let's decorate it. I like pockets. You know that if you've been watching me by now for any length of time, I like pockets. What I like to use again is my book pages. So with this book, I like these. I love the start of chapters. I really love the start of chapters. I will quite often from my book pages cut these out and use them in my numbers, where I just have a container of numbers and all the rest, and it might just have a 17 or a 20 just from chapters and things like that. But I also love them to make little pockets. But what I want to do is just trim it off so that it's just above, and that's what's making the top of my pocket. So there's one. I've got some more sitting here. Let's have a look. There's another one. Just lining up my book page, giving it just a little bit over the top. There's 2. That one hasn't got one. That one hasn't got one. That one hasn't got one. Let's see what else we've got in some of these others. I had, here, this lovely paper unfortunately doesn't have chapters, but it has something like that. So why couldn't we use something like that as the top of our pocket? Which already gives us some decoration on our pocket. So let's see if there's any more of that in the ones that have been, oh look, they're everywhere. Right, try and have it a little bit straight. Just, it helps my OCD, that's all. So on, another one on that one, no. On this one, makes for a very low one, but that's all right. I like my pockets to be different sizes. None on that one. Let's have a look in our French one. There's no reason why we couldn't use the tops of these pages. So let's just pull that out. Because we can cut them back to size later on. It goes back in there. So I can use all of that, but I just want a little bit of it trimmed off. I like them further up the top. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off. So that I've got that at the top. Okay, so what have I got now? And we've got lots of pages in this. We've got, what do we have? So 6, 12, you know, there is lots. All right, we'll start working with these ones. So this is my front. And what I'll do, to make this easier, what I do with these is I'll sit it on. Sit that where I want it. I will sit my little ruler there, hang on to it, and then I'll use my glue, which I didn't put my pin back in, down here. That way I don't have to cut my pocket to size. So what I'm going to do, sit that there. I want these in the centre. Again, that's just me. Slide it up so that it's up against my ruler. Give it a push. Now I can just trim it off. Like so. Turn that bit over. And there's your pocket. Again, I would have inked the top bit too. Now it's just a matter of matching it all up. Okay, one pocket. How hard was that? So you've got lots of different pockets. I want a taller pocket in this one. I'm actually going to give that because I like especially when I'm using the same book. See how it's now lifted that up, whereas if I sit it like that, it tends to just blend in. So same thing with this one. I'm going to work out where I want my pocket to go. I want a high pocket with this one, and I've got space with this. So it's going to be around about there. Just straighten that ruler up. Grab my glue again. And turn it into a pocket. Match this up to your ruler. Flatten it out. I move my ruler so that I don't then have to keep hanging on to it. Right, so we'll trim. I'd rather my bigger scissors for this. So what I'm going to do is just trim off the bottom. Trim down this one. Don't want to cut into your folds. Fold that way. And trim down there. So then we've got our next pocket. Again, a little bit of ink. You've only got that section now to ink. Now I have inked around all of the actual tag shapes to start with, but there might be some, like in my initial one. There we go. All right, so my initial one, we'll take that off now, where I've just gone a full piece, which is why I tend to ink the whole thing to start with, because then I can work out if I want a pocket on it, I can put a pocket. It's easy to ink around again. If I don't want a pocket, it's already inked around, and I've just had a picture of something sitting there that I've then, you know, that was the size that it was type thing, and then I've just torn a little bit more out. So we'll do one of those. Let's see what we've got in here. Right, so maybe I want something like that all the way in there to use up the rest of this sheet. What I do for that, I'm just going to move you over, put you that way now. Put the pin on that one, Kylie. Put the pin, maybe I need it, you know, tattooed on the inside of my eyelids. Put the pin back in the glue. There we go. Right, so I like it going this way, and I'm going to have it on that. But I like my torn edges. And so, again, I'm going to pull out my water brush like I normally do, and I'm just going to squiggle along. Might need to go up there just in case it's too hot in here today. It's not that hot, but I do have the heater going. Not very wet down there, Kylie. There we go. Right, so I'm going to go up there. What I'm going to want is about to there, isn't it? Again, I'll set it back over on my grid. I can see where my watermark is, which is about there on that one. So I'm just going to join it up to the other line. Doesn't matter if it goes in further, but we don't want it to go out. And then I can just fold it over, and then it'll just tear down there. And I get my lovely torn look. So I want this as a full one, which means I want an edge, torn edge. And I want to go up into that. So I'm going from here. That way I don't have to cut an actual, and it's just paper, it's just water, and if I need to cut any more off it, I can. So I've left that bit out like that to show you. All right, so this is going to fit in here. Take that bit down there. Now the other thing I like to do while it is wet is ink it. Because with the distress inks, they react to water. So you'll get different looks. If this is really wet, you've got to watch when you're doing it that you don't rip your paper too much with this. But because they react with water, so when you get really wet areas, they actually come up a treat. All right. So, do I want a tear in there? Well, this is going to sit in here. Yeah, you know. Let's just take that section out there, like that. Okay, don't forget. Now, I could have done that with my water brush because it was just a little one. I've just torn it with my fingers. So this is going to go in like so. So we'll glue that down. And I'm just using my white glue again. When I'm doing these, I tend to use my white glue over my glue stick because the glue stick, as you know, will bend everything. You need to wait for it to dry to bend it down. And with these, they are, especially this book, it is a very, very thin paper. It's almost like a Bible paper. Nothing's coming out of that. And so I tend not to use my glue sticks when I'm using this book. All right. Gemma, I can hear you in there. And that's what it was. All right. So I'll just follow around all my edges first. And then I'll just give it a go. If you can hear that noise in the background, that's our heater. It's a bit raw. Winter's finally come on, I think. But I have got washing on the line, so it's not going to rain. I've told it. Alright, if I need to move it, I can move it as I go. Right. So that's all it is to doing our full ones. Our pockets, like so. Okay, and it's then just a matter of, let's say you've got a pocket. Here's a pocket. And I want to pop some background on that. You might want to leave it as your book pages. Let's say you want to pop some background on that. So let's just pull out one of these backgrounds. There we go. No, that's a tag that I cut for it. What have I got that's in the right size? This one's wider, so we'll go with... Do I want to go that way or do I want to go that way? We'll go that way because I've already got a torn edge and I'm being lazy. How's that? So this one we are doing, I need them round about a bit under 3. So if I sit that on my grid, again, just, you know, somewhere, and I'm using the edge of where it goes white as my line up. So if I sit that there, there's my 3. I'm going to come to just over my solid line here. I can always take more off, just need to give that some water. Here we go. I'm just weaving as I go. Might want to go one more and just follow that slightly damp line up. Give it a fold. Like that. Let's have a look and see how we're going. So I'm not even taking off the white from this digital because I'm just going to tuck that in. Might need to take a little bit off that edge, like so. So I'm just going to tuck that in, sit it in there. My tag comes up to there, so I'm just going to go round. Can always take more off. No measuring required. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Yep, I'm happy with that. Let's see how where it was wet all lifts it up. This is the edge that was already done before, so it's not wet. And now see the difference with the wet edge? And of course I don't need to do this section because it's going in to the pocket. So I'll give that some glue. And who didn't remind me to put the lid on the glue? Ah, Kylie. All right. Turn it round so that I've got it that way for me. Tuck it under my pocket. Yes, I could have put it on there before I put my pocket on there, but would I then be wasting paper by putting too much on there? And I want to keep this as thin as possible because I want it to look like a tag, like just a single tag. So, you know, I've got that. Now it's up to decorating this sort of thing. We'll put another one on this one now while we're here as well, and then we'll decorate the two of them. What do you reckon? So let's just have a look. Going that one? Yep. So it's going to be, you know, round about there. I'll cut that whole strip. Setting it on my grid. Making it straightish. Finding where I made my mark. Can anybody see it? Yes, there it is. Right, so it's that line. As wonky or whatever else as you like. Now these are just digitals, these ones. And they've just been printed from a standard printer. So yes, sometimes you will get a bit of blurring, a bit of smudging when you're using the water, but for me, I like that look again anyway, so, you know. But if you're concerned about it, don't use your water brush, simple as that. This bit should tuck in here. I'm going to need to get rid of that bit. And I'm just going to give him a V so that he actually tucks in, because all I'm doing is getting rid of that white. And problem with that is my glue's gone over too far. There you go. He will fit in though. And I'm going to go up to here. Up around there. It's somewhere up there. Yeah. And back down. Like that. Right. I'm not re-inking this blender brush as we're going. Most times it's just whatever's still left on the brush, but I like it where it gets all watery and curly. And once again, I don't need to do that bottom bit. Might help if the whole thing was on the mat. That'd be just too easy. I do need to go down there a little bit more. Right. Just need to get that white in because it's glued itself over a bit further there. There we go. Like that. and down. Give it a good push. Okay, so really, how hard were those pockets? So what have we got? Where were that way, that way, that way, and our front pocket. I like our front pocket. That's come up a treat. Let's do something with our front pocket. Now, we could find our bits and bobs and all the rest. I don't think I've got anything that I can cut out in amongst all of these. No. But I might like to put some Timmy people on there. But they're not scraps, are they? We're trying to use our scraps. I've got other bits of digitals here from a journal that I'm doing at the moment. So technically, yes, they're scraps. That bird is scrummy, but I don't think it's going to fit. Let's just have a quick look, will we? So, just going to get into that bird. I just need to make a mark so that my scissors can get in, because I don't know what I want the rest of the paper for. So I'm not just going to cut willy-nilly into the rest of that paper until I know what I want to do. Otherwise, I'm just creating more scraps, aren't I? Because I've then wasted or used up paper and made it into the wrong size for something. Oh, I just gave him a diet. All right. I'll take a little bit out of there. Need his claw. He can't hang on to the branch if he doesn't have his claw. What have I missed? That bit. All right. Again, I'm not worried about it too much. I'm just going to take it off down to there, and then we can work out what we want to do with his legs. Might be that I cover them back up. Don't reckon all his tail's going to fit anyway. Oh, I think I need a new blade. Right, what have I got? What haven't I got? Didn't get in there. My blade doesn't have its point on it anymore. I'm a bit of a skunch. And so I wait, and I know that the point is not on there, but I won't change the blade until it's absolutely necessary. I know, it's shocking, and sometimes I'm probably doing more harm than good by trying to work with a slightly blunt blade, but that's me. That's just what I am. Right. There we go. And up. You got to remember, I use my blade for everything. So I could put a brand new blade in this, and I'm telling you now that within an hour, there'll be no point on that anymore. Right, so let's have a look. Now, I'm going to lose his tail, but I like, what I want is my tree branch and my blendy brush one, and then I can get rid of all the white edge that I've missed or cut around or cut off as I've been going, and it'll just stop him looking just a little bit dodgy. So I'm just going up into the edges. All right. Sit you back in there. Sit you back in there. Wipe where I just did that. And let's have a look. All right, I'm going to adhere him on, and then I'll just take off a little bit of that. But I want something else going on from there, of course. I want. I might as well just keep using this. So now I'm going to put script back there because that's what he had in the first place. On your cards. Get rid of that bit. And I like the green. I really like the green. Do I maybe want that? Let's just have a look, because I don't want to pull out any of my add-ons, my other little bits that I've got sitting there, because it's the whole point of using up all these papers that are sitting on my desk so that I can clean my desk as I go. Probably just make more, but, you know, I'm just going to take that round there. Because what I'm going to do is tuck that into there. Like so. Let's see how we're going with that. I know you're going to be... Yep. Okay. So I can cut into that. That one can go around there. Sorry, talking to myself. All right. Where does that go to? Now, this is my front cover, so technically it'll still have a tag or something in it there if I want. How's that? I like that. Right. I'm going to have to put some more ink on this soon. So we had that over there. Like that, didn't we? I want him on there. That in there. Right, we'll stick this one in first, will we? Without that bottom corner. Alright, not sticking that corner, but we'll stick the rest. If we can get some glue. Alright. There. And this corner shouldn't be stuck down. No. Just get rid of the white core in that. I know it'd be easier with the blendy brush thing, but we're just gonna do this. Right. I think I've lost track of time. I must look. Ah, look at that. We're going to get this bit done and that's it. I just see I get so good and then all of a sudden I just lose it because I get sidetracked and lost in the moment. All right, going to lift that bit up. That's going to go down there. That's going to go down there. And that's going to go up there. And my birdie, if I angle him right, I might not need to cut him off, will I? Nope. So we'll put our birdie down. How sad. just flies. And I just lose track of time. But that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's just losing track of time. It's being in your happy place. I don't want to have to lose anything of him. So, yep, there you go. How's that? Right, very quickly, we better do something on here. And then I'm going to have to say goodbye. Oh, no. Right, okay. So I want something. I want my number left there, and I want these left there. So let's just, that is part of that one again anyway. Go for the scraps, Kylie, go for the scraps. That's going to be used in there somehow. I don't want to lose my 471. Like that. It'll just kick out of place. Saves me just having to restamp a number in there, doesn't it? Like that. Sorry, phone's closer. How many times have you just been looking at my head? Oh, my word. Right. Right. No, I'm not sticking you on because I might want to tuck other things in there. This one needs to come over a little bit or up. All right, stick you in first. I'd like a word. I'd like a word. Do I have a word just in my scraps? Probably not. I might have to give in and actually find a word. Do I have a word in my scraps? Sorry, I'm gluing while I'm looking, because that always helps. I have words that I've torn out of scraps that are in there. So I'm in the middle of a bird and butterfly journal. This one, if I keep this style now, can go into that journal, can't it? Right, what did I have in words in amongst here that's in my scraps? Oh, I have another one of those ready to use. Set that one there. Right, just the scraps. Right. See, these are what I will use. Watch. So much easier to do this with a water brush, and I can get exactly where I want. There. Yes, I've got stamps that have numbers and lots of, but my word, I find a lot of them just in my book pages. Right. You're done now. I'm just going to grab my tweezers to do this. And I want that over the two. like so. How's that one? So there's our front cover done. Here's one that is still waiting for a front cover, but we've done our front cover now. This is what you're looking at. Let's just tidy up some of this and we'll say goodbye. Thank you for watching me. It's been great. I love having your company when I'm doing these sorts of things. I will finish these off and get this uploaded later tonight, or I'll finish 1 or 2 of them off. I'll see how I go. I've got to go to work in a minute. So for those of you that are in Australia, happy Mother's Day. I don't know when everybody else's Mother's Days are, sorry. So if I've missed a Mother's Day, I'm sorry, and happy Mother's Day for that one. There's one coming up. I'll catch up with it later. Have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. That's just from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for subscribing. And until later, bye. Happy crafting.